Thank you for the thoughtful argument. You've raised some valid points, and I appreciate the concern for both human health and animal welfare. However, I have a belief that there's another perspective that challenges some of the ideas which you have shared. Let's start with the claim that humans have become greedy, and that this greed is leading to poor conditions for animals and poor conditions for humans as well. Now, while I agree that some farming practices could certainly be improved, it's important to recognize something important, that not all meat production is the same. Many farmers and producers are adopting sustainable and ethical practices, and they are, in fact, raising animals in environments that are both humane and environmentally conscious. These methods aim to minimize harm, and they aim to provide high-quality food and highly healthy food for us humans. So, it's not entirely fair to paint the entire industry with the same brush. Now, about plastic in the oceans and its effect on marine life. This is, without question, a serious issue, and all of us should understand it and not ignore it. But is it really an argument against eating meat or fish? The problem here isn't the act of eating fish, it's our failure to manage waste properly. Blaming meat consumption for the plastic crisis shifts the focus away from the real issue, pollution and poor waste management. Instead of abandoning seafood altogether, we should be working towards stricter regulations and cleaner oceans. You also mentioned the artificial breeding of sea creatures in low-quality environments. While this does happen in some cases, it's worth noting that aquaculture, when done responsibly, can be a solution to overfishing in natural waters. Many fish farms today use advanced methods to create cleaner, healthier environments for the animals. These improvements help provide a sustainable source of protein for a growing global population without depleting natural resources. Now let's consider the concern about chemicals in land-based farming. Yes, there have been issues with growth hormones and antibiotics in livestock, sheep and cows, but again, the solution isn't to stop eating meat entirely. The solution is better regulation. The solution is choosing meat from trusted, ethical sources. In fact, many countries have already implemented strict controls and strict measures and rules on the use of chemicals in farming, as these countries want to ensure that the meat reaching our plates is safe and healthy. Finally, let's address the twofold effects you mentioned: human health and animal welfare. It's true that some people face health issues linked to their diets, but these problems aren't exclusive to meat consumption. Obesity, diabetes, and even cancer are often the result of broader lifestyle choices, including overeating, lack of exercise, and poor food quality in general, not just eating meat. In moderation and when sourced ethically, meat can be a valuable part of a balanced diet, providing essential nutrients that are harder to obtain from plant-based diets alone. As for animal welfare, this is a moral and ethical question, and I understand the concern. But many people believe it's possible to raise and consume animals responsibly, in ways that respect their welfare and minimize suffering. Ethical farming practices, free-range systems, and stricter animal rights laws are steps in the right direction. So, while the points you've raised are important, they don't necessarily lead to the conclusion that humans should stop eating meat. Instead of abandoning meat entirely, perhaps the better path forward is to focus on improving how we produce and consume it. With sustainable farming, better regulations, and conscious consumer choices, we can address many of the concerns you've highlighted without giving up an important part of human culture and nutrition. That's my perspective, but I'm curious to hear more. What do you think?